Well, hello guys. Welcome back to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today we have a review for you of the Civivi Brazen. Alright guys, so this is the Civivi Brazen. So this thing is interesting. I mean, it's got a lot of the same Civivi design quality. Chickens are going ballistic. A lot of the same Civivi design quality, but it's got a lot of different, better things going for it too, which is really cool. So this is all G10. This is black G10 with a deep carry pocket clip that is not recessed, but it does have flat screws. That is fine, flat head screws. And it is ambidextrous, so you can flip it to both sides. It is tip-up only carry. This is a pretty good peel-ply style texturing. It feels fine. It's not aggressive. It might tear up your pants over a while, but it's not going to be like insanely aggressive. It's like just grippy enough. We have some scalloping going on here, and I'll call this chamfering, but it's kind of like a wide scallop going on down there with some chamfering all around the edges to knock all of this down. It's uniform on both sides, just a little bit more so that you can address the liner lock, and we'll get to that in a second. It does have this G10 backspacer, very cool, and this G10 looks cool. It's like, let's see here if you guys can see it. It has these really sweet little layers, and I don't know if the lighting is going to hit it right. It's like little layers. It almost looks like a carbon fiber. It definitely is not, but it almost looks like it. Or like almost like a wood grain pattern style. With a little lanyard bump out right there. That's not obtrusive. It's not a big deal. You can barely see it. So, again, that's a great thing. These are T8 screws all around, except for the pocket clip. This is T6 screws. Once again, I mean, they're doing everything that we're asking them to do, and that's a cool thing. So right here we have the flipper tab. It's non-obtrusive. It has a lot of jimping on it, and this seems to be Civivi style lately. If you look at the Badlands Vagabond, or I think the Ortis has the same thing. It has some really aggressive, tiny little jimping that it's like sandpaper if you do it like this, but it's so perfect because you're not sliding. It's just like a pull and you're done. So that's great. Typical Civivi pivot right here. This pivot collar is going to be captive. It's going to be just fine. No issues there whatsoever. I did get the black on black version, which has thumb studs. All of the Brazens have thumb studs, by the way. And for the first flip, yeah, this is a black Tonto blade. And guys, let me just stop here for a second. And the action on Civivis are great. The action on this one feels almost better than typical. I think it's because this is one of the first times, short of the Badlands Vagabond, that I really felt them hit the thumb stud action oh so well. Whenever they try to do thumb studs with the phosphor bronze, it always fell short, and I really disliked the models. The Governor, I really wanted to like. I did not. The Hooligan, I really wanted to like, and then I got it in hand, and the action sucked. The ergonomics are weird for my hands. It just... And those are the only two that I've experienced with their phosphor bronze, but they were thumb studs as well, and you're kind of like, I feel like this is missing something. Like, it just felt empty. This one feels complete. The action is just great. Let me get you guys a flashlight to go on to the next portion of the video, which I apparently was not planning on doing, so I didn't prep for this. All right, so as you can see, the inside liners are milled out. And that is the show side. The liner lock side has a little bit of milling on the back side. Let's see if we can see it better from this angle. Right there. See, it's got milling in it too. So there's a lot of milling in these steel liners. And jumping onto the blade real quick, and then we'll go back to that, the rest of it. So this is a Tonto style blade with 2 flat grinds. Now, I measured these before, but we'll measure them again behind the edge. I believe this one's at the tip is a little bit sturdier behind the edge. But they're 2 flat grinds. They didn't try to do a hollow grind here. And I mentioned this in the Keen Natter video, that I was expecting big things from the Brazen, and I thought the Keen Natter completely missed its mark. This one in particular, I think, did it all so well with this blade. It's not just like your straight boring. It has this nice tiny little curve to it, which looks great. But the blade itself is your true Tonto, just up and out. Flat grind here. And then we have a swedge that runs the length of the blade, carrying strength out to the tip of that. Because as a Tonto, you're going to be doing more puncturing tasks, because that's kind of what the Tonto's built for. You puncture and go. puncture, and then it cuts its way on down. We have some jimping on the back of the spine right there. It's typical Civivi, there's not much. And then the spine does seem to be knocked down, but it's not chamfered, so it's probably just due to the coating that's on the blade. The blade kind of looks like dirty. That's what the blade kind of looks like. The blade, I think, is a stonewash finish, unless I've just gotten it so dirty or oily that it looks... I think this is a stonewash finish, so maybe that's what knocks this down. I'm 90%, I'm 100% sure this is a stonewash finish, looking at it now. And it's perfect. It knocks it down. It's not going to cut anything on your nails or your hands or anything like that. Going to hem you up. The liner here this is where Civivi, I think, can grow a little bit. Is I am so tired of these jimped liners that are aggressive, and they're like, that's like the one thing that you want to fidget with these because they do so well for fidget factor, but then you keep hitting that aggressive and you're like, I think we're going to take a break for a while. It's a little exaggerating, but I would rather see this a tiny bit more proud and then scallop it on down and have that smooth liner. That's a preference for me, and it's a preference that I've found that I've thoroughly enjoy way more than jimping on liners, but again, not a huge deal. We have a very large sharpening choil and a nowhere near finger choil going on here, but it does come with the plunge grind very well. It stops at that edge, so it goes up, and it's once again done great. If you can't tell, I didn't do anything to this edge, and it is damn near a mirror edge. Now, I'm not going to call it like a true mirror, but it's probably like a machine style mirror, you know, where they put pretty much uniform on there. It looks great. And guys, I've been using this thing, and it is still wicked freaking sharp. This thing is hair popping sharp still with its D2 steel. Let's see, let me check my notes. I don't see it written on there. D2 steel. So, I mean, this thing's gonna hold its edge for a while. You might not, I mean, it's going to be strong for puncture tasks, but it's not going to be too tough, so be careful with what you're doing. You might chip something. But overall, I mean, it's a really, really, really cool piece. And ergonomically, this thing is so sound. I'm assuming this is going to be a little bit heavier because in hand, it feels great. I freaking love the way it feels in my hand, too. This thing feels dense. It does not feel like a cheap, lightweight knife. And I started to feel that out of some of the Civivis, like the Civivi Wyvern, for example. In hand, I wanted to love the blade because the blade is so awesome. The handles just drove me nuts, but it didn't feel super quality. Yeah, this thing's just shy of 4 ounces. It's coming in at 3.8 ounces. So it's not going to be your ultra lightweight style knife, but it is falling under that 4 ounce mark. And that's a good thing. I mean, you know, anybody who says that carrying a knife that's more than 3 ounces is too heavy for them, I mean, you're missing out on a lot of cool pieces out there. So let's get your overall length. Your overall length is coming in right at 8 inches. Your blade length's coming in at right at 3.5, and your cutting edge is coming just shy of 3.5 inches. Between 3.5 and a quarter, maybe 3 1/3. So you're almost getting a perfect blade length to weight ratio also on this. Let's see what we got going on here. The blade stock thickness is pretty narrow. It's coming in at 115 thousandths, so you guys can see it. So, I mean, I have no problems with that. I wish a Tonto style blade would come in a little bit thicker, but that's all right. So the behind the edge on the first flat is coming in at 23 or 22 thousandths. The behind the edge on the second flat is coming in at about 23 to 24. So it's not much of a difference behind the edge thicknesses between the two. Kind of surprising. I thought the top would be a little bit thicker, and it is by like a thousandth, but whatever. So the overall thickness in your pocket's coming in at about 0.48 of an inch. I keep doing that so you guys can't see. About 0.48 of an inch. And then the overall height in your pocket is going to be coming in at 1.215 inches. So it's not an obtrusive pocket hog. It's not, you know, you don't have a crazy flipper tab sticking out. You do have a flipper tab. There's the D2, by the way. They put it on the flipper tab, which is cool. They tried to hide it. There you guys go. Now you can see it. They tried to hide it. That's pretty sweet. All right. So on to the size comparisons. We have your Feldspar Mini and your regular size Feldspar. This is coming in at almost exactly the same length and same blade length as your Feldspar. So the feldspar is like the perfect size knife for a lot of things. And I think Civivi really took notes from that, because the feldspar was such a good hit. Now this is nothing like the feldspar. It's just the same size, and I think that makes sense, and it was a good decision. But you guys remember that scalloping I was talking about instead of the jimping on the liner? Boom, there it is. The feldspar already did it. Feldspar did it. Feldspar did it. And it's so much more enjoyable to use, in my opinion. Here's your Rat Model 2, which is coming in just a little bit shorter, and your Rat Model 1, which is coming in at a little bit longer, about half of an inch. Your Rat Model 2 is coming in about half of an inch shorter. I don't have a Civivi sandwich because this has taken over as my Civivi size comparison knife. So here's your Civivi Elementum next to it. Now your Elementum is going to come in at about, let's see here from an overhead view, almost a full inch shorter in total length. And that's all right. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying that's all right, like it's a downside. It's just a size comparison. Last but not least, we have your Spyderco Little Native with titanium scales, and today's lineup for the Spyderco, this is your Spyderco Domino. The Civivi Brazen is coming in at a little bit longer than both of these. Not by much on the Domino, but by quite a bit on the Little Native. So let's do a quick recap, and then we'll give you my overall thoughts. So this is a D2 blade Tonto. We have the swedge going on down the blade. We have the jimping on the spine right here. Thumb studs, flipper tab, liner lock, milled liners, G10, back spacer with the lanyard loop, T8, 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 T6, T6, deep carry pocket clip, which is ambidextrous. And I just wrapped that up way quicker than in most of my videos. That's pretty sweet. So the Civivi Brazen, what do I like about this? First and foremost, the ergonomics are solid as hell. These ergonomics are so solid for a Civivi. It's just, I genuinely appreciate these. Next, the action on this is great. I love the way the flipper tab has light jimping on it, but it's perfect for what you're trying to do. I mean, it's light jimping, but it doesn't stick out, and they're starting to do that flipper tab so perfect, and they've got that detent tuned in so perfectly. I can take my middle finger and just barely press on it, and it gets a really good flick going on there. Now, this isn't completely drop shut, but it virtually has, I mean, everything about it is almost there, right? After a long time and like breaking it in and everything, you might get there. I love how this isn't a straightforward knife. It almost stole this from the Shaman, in my opinion. It probably didn't steal it from the Shaman. I'm just saying that's why I like the Shaman, so this is coming in here. But it starts and it curves all along this. It's not completely straight. If I can find a straight edge to prove that to you guys. Sorry for all the lawn work going on outside. My wife will be like, why didn't you mow the yard? I was doing something. As you guys can see there, it's rounded on the edges. So that's just to show you guys that it's not a completely straight knife. And I think that really lends to a lot of the ergonomic value, that it fits in your hand like it's supposed to fit in your hand. Like, this thing was built for my hands. I feel like if you held it, it's going to be built for your hands. And so ergonomically and everything that goes along with it, I truly, truly do think that they hit it on, they just killed it and they crushed it out of the park. What don't I like about this knife? There's nothing. There is absolutely nothing that I do not like about this knife. I think they did everything absolutely perfect for what they were going for. Even the look looks awesome. I'm not a huge Tonto fan, and I love this knife. The only thing that's going to get this to replace this from my lineup when it comes to comparisons is the Brazen with the drop point style blade. Obviously, once the Elementum button lock comes out and stuff, I mean, that'll probably take over just because why not, right? But until then, the Brazen with the drop point style blade is definitely a killer and something that I'm looking forward to. And despite having the same exact knife with the Tonto, I'm definitely going to get the drop point. I'll do a review on all that too. It'll kind of be the same thing. We'll run through it much faster. But anyways, my name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. I didn't tell you the price. It is $49 at Blade HQ. If you go to White Mountain Knives, you can use my promo code EEDCWMK for 10% off. I don't get anything out of it. It's just something I wanted to do to kind of get you guys motivated, I guess, to spend money. Turns out I'm just an asshole. Oh, reality sets in. That's all I got for you guys. My name is Tyler. It's been Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe. Have a great freaking day, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. It genuinely means a lot. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. If you didn't like it, give me some feedback in the comments below and hit the thumbs down button. In case you guys don't know, I do have a Patreon, which will be listed right here. In that Patreon, we're giving bi-monthly giveaways to just the Patreons based on the number of Patreons that we have in the Patreon. We will also be giving discounts on all the knives that I sell based on the number of patrons. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great day.